Just wheeling my Jeep. Just wheeling my Jeep. Because here I am driving through Moab in my Wagoneer. Went down a trail, having some fun, being quite outdoorsy. You know how that goes.
I'm sorry about the singing, but it was a good day. You see, every year Jeep turns up at the Easter Safari with a bunch of concept cars. Some are previews of new optional bits and pieces, some are pure fantasy built just for fun, and you can actually drive them.
Now this is called Sandstorm, and it's a concept Jeep built specifically for the Easter Jeep Safari. They gave this particular Wrangler long travel suspension, king shocks. It's got 14 inches at the front, 18 inches at the back.
A 385 horsepower engine, V8 6.4, and supposed to be able to go very, very quickly through the desert. The only problem being that we weren't allowed to go as quickly as we would have liked. Something about these being priceless concepts and all.
Now, the good thing about it is it does sound rather amazing. It's a beautiful looking thing, bright orange, so you'd never miss it in the desert. And it's a bit like a tiny trophy truck. And it doesn't half-handle these trails. It's absolutely effortless. Thing is, because it's all caged down, it's on proper suspension, it feels like it wants to go quickly. The thing with a lot of concepts is that they're trailer queens, you know. You're not allowed to drive them, they haven't got an engine, or they don't really work. Well, here at the Easter Jeep Safari, the concept cars you can actually drive. And actually, even though it's built to go quickly off-road, it handles the slower stuff just as well as anything else. It's got the power, it's obviously got four-wheel drive, you can put it down into 4-low and just crawl up rocks. Also, when it gets to the really rough stuff like here, it's absolutely fine. It's not just a concept made real, it's like a child's toy made real.
But even though the Sandstorm was nice, it felt a bit hamstrung by the course Jeep had allowed us to drive. Which meant that when I got my hands on my favourite of the concepts, I kind of nicked it and went for a drive through Moab. This is the Jeep Wagoneer Roadtrip restomod, a 1965 Wagoneer with a new 5.7 litre V8 under the hood and modern coilover suspension. Not the faster Jeep or the most aggressive, but the best for doing what Jeeps do. And it is ace, because Jeep knows what Jeep people like.
They come to Jeep Week in Moab because this is essentially where their customer base comes, you know, the four-wheeling fraternity, they've all got Jeeps. They come to gauge reactions to new bits, to styling tweaks. This is what Jeeps gave you access to, and they still do in a lot of ways. They allow you to come down the trails, to adventure, to do a bit of exploring, and you know what you get? You get that. The great outdoors. You're not going to get to that in a Prius. This one is definitely my favourite. It's the Wagoneer. And it's got a great mix of kind of old school and new bits. So it's a 5.7 litre V8, but a 4-speed also, just like they used to be. It's painted in a heritage colour, which looks cool. It's got a really thin rimmed steering wheel, which is white, which wouldn't last in my house. Retrimmed leather seats. It just feels like a modern take on an old school classic. It is full of character, and this is basically where Jeep came from, you know. These are what made Jeep special back in the day, because essentially this is the granddaddy of the SUV. Nobody had really made a car like this before. It was that kind of family estate that could actually take you down a trail, it could take you camping, it would take you places that other cars couldn't. And you know what? Some of the mods they've done to this car are actually quite special. It's got a long wheelbase, the axles have moved further out, it's still an all steel bodied car, but they've reshaped the wheel arches to make sure that the 20-inch wheels, which are modern sizing, actually look right in the arches. It makes what looks like an old truck into something a lot more usable, and that is what makes it cool. This is the style of the old with the convenience of the new. and a bench seat, so you can put your arm around your girlfriend or wife. Much more than a lot of the other cars with more horsepower. It's just brilliant. I could see myself rocking this.
So which would you have? Fast attack modern desert racer or slower, more sedate old school resto mod? You decide.